Welcome back to James Hates Everything, and it's that time again. It's lawsuit time. So get your popcorn, get your drinks, sit back because it's going to be a wild one. All right. Welcome back, everybody. It's another Thursday night, and this is an unexpected one. We're going to get caught up on a little court drama, and it's pretty interesting, especially the way it all comes out. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some interesting stuff when it comes to Arcade1Up's exclusive relationship with Alliance Entertainment. And because we can't be left out of the latest trend in home arcade YouTubing, we've got a super chat goal. No second pour, no second Arnold Palmer, no second cup of coffee. Nope. If we hit our super chat goal, you're getting some sloppy seconds. That's right. You'll get a glimpse at something special I have sitting right over there in my eyesight. Something that without our fun super chat goal, you'll just have to wait till next week to get a glimpse of. So if you want to see what I got hidden over there, and trust me, it's pretty interesting, look for the sloppy seconds goal. But before we get on into all the exciting court drama, we need to say hello to everyone in the chat who got here bright and early. We've got the Cornercade, who apparently is ready to go for litigation. We got Robcat saying JHE is the GOAT for always bringing that hot litigation news. We got Paul Mendeman always breaking the latest interesting info around iconic arcade and basic fun. We got JJ in the house. We got Vic Vicious. We got Zero Redux, The Be Me, John Fritz, Sergeant Giratina. We did Vic Vicious already. Who else we got? We got Steve Sale, fresh off his birthday earlier in the week. So happy belated birthday to Steve. We have the stock jock himself here, Fat Hog, the sauciest of meatballs. Let's see, who else do we got in here? A lot of chatting going on. We got Billy Woods Mods. Thanks for stopping by. I don't want to miss anybody. John Fritz, here we go. Joe Cade, thanks for dropping by. Dane Bramage, nice to see you. Gramps Arcade, Dr. Torque. We got the Show Gecko. We got Marine 50. Oh, we got Stock Jock doing the 10 memberships. Really appreciate that. All that support. Can't thank you enough, Stock Jock. All that goes right back into the channel. You may have noticed getting a little more flashy and going in the editing, and that's thanks to support from folks like you. All super chats, all memberships, all that stuff goes right back into the channel so that hopefully we can bring you more entertaining videos. Of course, can't forget the moderator of all moderator, the keeper of the mythical gates, Jason Little Alien. We got Gamer Fridge. Wants to know if he missed the show. Chris, North by Northwest Nooner. The sauciest of meatballs with the $2 super chat. And we've got Stock Jock also with the $2 super chat. Thank you both. Really appreciate it. Seeker of Arcades, Will H, into the line. MSU Rich, trying to make sure I didn't miss anybody here. John McGovern. And who else we got here? J-Rod is here. Lincoln Lambright is here. And of course, the genius of all genies, the genie of the game, who says James is home, made it by the skin of my teeth. Another super chat from Fat Hog for $2 says, is it gummies? It is not gummies. So for those keeping track, the stupid goal is not counting up, but I'm keeping track. We have 3 super chats. So there you go. So let's get into the fun stuff, shall we? And why do I just shaved and apparently got shavings from my beard all over my shirt. So you can't take me anywhere. Retro Roofer is here, says, what up all? Jason with the $5 super chat. Really appreciate it. So that's 4. We just got 6 to go. So let's talk about why we're all here tonight, folks. And that is the glorious of legal news. And again, guys, really appreciate the super chats. Very, very, very grateful. So if I just broached over them, it wasn't on purpose. Wanted to get through everybody's name. We got another $1.99 super chat. So this guy uses an iPhone. It says, chat, wake up. James, get Dubs dancing. So what I got for sloppy seconds is going to surpass the dancing P-Dubs. So you'll just have to wait and see. And we're halfway there, obviously. And we got Brooklyn Menace in the house. Cyan Spirits is also here. So let's talk about iconic arcade and Arcade1Up. And if we go way back in that time machine, you'll remember we've talked quite a bit about ThinkUp post Arcade1Up breakup. So if you guys remember, man, what was it? Summer of 2023, we got news that Arcade1Up's venture funding company took control of the company. In doing that, the CEO and founder of Tastemakers, Scott Bacharach, departed. Our friend, the senior vice president of licensing, departed. For a brief time period, the CFO and the COO were co-CEOs, which never works out well. Eventually, the CFO became the head of Arcade1Up. But as that happened, a meeting was held between the COO and the CEO of ThinkUp, Jerry Cummings, longtime partner of Arcade1Up. In fact, the guy and the company that actually designed the Arcade1Up cabinets that we all know and love, or love to hate, depending on who you are. And they also designed and developed the Infinity Game Board. In that original deal with Scott, they had a handshake email agreement that said they get royalties for life. But when Arcade1Up or Tastemakers took on that venture funding back in the day, they signed a new agreement with Disruptive Products, Inc. that basically said all those other agreements were null and void, and this constitutes the new agreement. And that new agreement was kind of all over the place, but basically said, like, hey, we can cancel this agreement at any time, and when we do, you're just kind of SOL. And so Jerry and Davin, the COO of Arcade1Up, got in a room. They had Jerry come out, fly down to Florida. They ambushed him. They said, hey, we need you to negotiate new rates for us. We just can't deal with you right now. And Jerry's like, what is this? You said you wanted to continue our relationship, and this was all to talk about the path forward, and you're ambushing me with a new agreement that you're telling me I have to sign right here and agree to right here, and if I don't, you'll cancel me. Well, so I don't agree. I have a deal with you guys, believing in that original handshake agreement, and so he walks away. So 30 days later, Davin and Arcade1Up, they send ThinkUp a notice and say, you're hereby terminating our agreement with you. Here's what we think we owe you. Sign away all your rights, and we'll send you the check. So Jerry and the ThinkUp team file a lawsuit against Arcade1Up. Long story short, gets thrown out on a technicality because it's filed in the wrong venue. They refile, it goes round and round. That one gets tossed out. They refile again. And if you remember, back in March, we talked about the ruling that the judge went through, said, hey, you cashed the check. There's nothing here. Case dismissed. And we kind of thought that was the end of this drama, of this saga. But we were wrong. We were wrong. The case continued. ThinkUp's lawyers filed a motion to renew because the case was not tossed for prejudice. They were allowed to make a motion after that. And that is exactly what they did. And we'll talk about that in just a second. First, we got to give a big shout out to Joe Cade for the $9.99 super chat, and Vic Vicious with the $4.99 saying sloppy seconds. That brings back memories. So thank you both. Really, really do appreciate it. For those counting, that's 7. So we're 3 away from sloppy seconds being unlocked. So we're back. And I love Jerry. He's a really nice guy. Got to meet him out at Chicago. So that you guys don't know, in the interim between when Arcade1Up sent them packing, ThinkUp had to lay off most of its staff. Like, that was their big customer, and they were just left out to dry with no way to make up that business. So they tried to come out with this thing called Shuffle Shot Golf. I think you guys all remember that. It was kickstarted, looked to be successful. Unfortunately, the official statement was they lost the relationship with their manufacturer, fell through, and trying to find a different one. The cost wasn't going to be what it's at, so they canceled that Kickstarter. And then not long after, they appear at the October Pinball Expo in Chicago with their wooden box and tell the world, we have joined forces with some of the founders from New Wave Toys, one of the original manufacturers of Arcade1Up out of China, and we are forming a new company called Wonderland Amusements. And of course, that was the debut of Wonderland Pinball. And here we are almost a year later, only 10 months later, and the Wonderland Pinball is about to ship. In fact, late backers can jump in on their Kickstarter because this thing is going to ship sometime in Q4. So he's landed on his feet, at least for now. So it's looking good, looking positive for the former ThinkUp team and their new venture. But we're back to the case. They filed the motion to renew, and Jerry sits down, files, basically gives a deposition. And in that deposition, he says, hey, Judge, I never got that check. I don't know what you're talking about. I got the letter, never signed the letter, and they never gave me the check. And so the judge is like, whoa, okay. So, well, all right, well, I still dismiss the case, but without prejudice. But what you can do is you can go ahead and file for redress on the 218,000 that they owe you. So ThinkUp's attorneys get together and they say, that's not good enough, right? We want to reopen the case because of XYZ. So they file their motion to renew. Of course, Disruptive Products and their teams fight back, but this time they're not as successful. And it appears the judge ordered mandatory, what do they call it? Mediation. So when that happens, typically both people have to get in opposite rooms at some other facility, usually run by a former judge, and they go back and forth trying to reach a settlement before the case starts getting knocked down, drag out. This is the last ditch effort that judges do to try to squash these cases before they get too far. So, don't have the exact ruling in front of me that got us to that mediation, but it happened. And 1 week ago today, ThinkUp's attorneys filed notice that the agreement at mediation had been agreed to, signed, and executed by ThinkUp. So now, here's the truth. Here's the reality of a situation like that. We will likely, due to how these things work, never know what the terms of that agreement are. We'll never know who paid what. Generally, both people in these types of arrangements are supposed to leave unhappy. So, ThinkUp probably didn't get anywhere near what they wanted. Arcade1Up probably had to pay more than what they wanted. In the end, things like this, who wins? The lawyers win. The lawyers are the ones that end up walking away with all the money. But so we'll never know. But what we do know is this saga between ThinkUp and Arcade1Up is officially over. So time will tell where ThinkUp goes from here. You guys know there's lots of rumors floating around there about who or what they might be working on now outside of Wonderland. So, maybe someday we'll learn more about those rumors, whether they're true or not. But for now, we know that at least this saga for Jerry and the ThinkUp team has come to an end. It's also come to an end for Arcade1Up. This is a terrible story. Ending needs some work. Well, unfortunately, Gamer Fridge, that's how most court cases go. Lots of drama and then lots of nothingness at the end, because it rarely is like a TV show where they get to court and Matlock or Perry Mason gets somebody to confess on the stand. You're never going to see Dora or Davin agree that they screwed ThinkUp. You're never going to see that. So, and that's just how it is. So that one's over. So we can put this lawsuit to bed, but it's not the end of our drama with Arcade1Up. That is for sure. So short stream. Hey, we're 20 minutes in, right? We just told the story. We've beat the ThinkUp versus Arcade1Up lawsuit to death. You guys know the details. If you don't and you want to go through the court documents, I have streams on those. I have videos on those. You can go back. I've got all the documents, all those things. You can go look at them. Wasn't a whole lot to, wanted to get through the history quickly for those that don't fully know it and just get to the meat, right? The meat is they arbitrated, they met. It didn't end up with, like we thought a few months ago, with the court just kicking the case out and being left to wonder, wow, ThinkUp just lost. They got kind of screwed. Nope, this is not what happened. They did walk away with something. We just don't know what that something is. So, little bit of good news for ThinkUp, probably some bad news for ThinkUp, because this is how courts work. They just don't satisfy really anything. But in the end, this dispute between the two companies has been settled, and both Arcade1Up and ThinkUp can now go on with this behind them, assuming there's no wild appeals. So we have Stock Jock with the $10 super chat. No, let's get to the real meat. We want sloppy seconds. ThinkUp has Tekken. Indeed. Yep, Tekken XL confirmed. So I confirmed that P-Dubs confirmed that Michael B confirmed that Tekken XL is real. You heard it here. And then we've got it. So Zero Redux, I think you count as the number 10 super chat towards our 10 goal. So really appreciate it. And says, consider yourself served. And then, of course, we have Dr. Torque with the 199. Think Up done. Think Up sounds funked up. And Jim the Pacers fan says he is in. And a big shout out to Jim the Pacers fan. We were actually talking about this next story earlier in the week. So it's something I had observed and had we in Discord traded some messages with a group of us a while ago, just kind of casually like, what's going on here? And it was really Jim the Pacers fan that got me digging into more on this Alliance Entertainment news. So we do have some updates on that, which I find pretty interesting. All right, so we passed the level. So you've unlocked sloppy seconds. So before we close tonight, you will get a glimpse at this deliciousness. And you got to give me 1 second here because I didn't have time to fully prepare. So I got to get these um, delicious images. All right, so we'll take a look at those in just a little bit. I think you'll be pleased. Um, but I'm curious, guys, what do you think? Like, are you at all interested in the Think Up outcome? Yes, so Stink Up, the name that's easy to mock. We did it, chat. We did it. I heard Think Up got enough to buy a back foo, but the Kickstarter was over. Nice. That sounded nasty. Indeed, Sathius, it was sloppy seconds. It can't sound delicious. That sounded gross. Uh, let's see. Uh, that sounded like a week's worth of sloppy seconds. Yeah. Sloppy Joes never sounded so unappetizing. That sounded wet. James, this is a disaster. Never mind, you can keep your seconds. Honestly, James, I could care less, but I appreciate everything covering this story. I really appreciate, you know, I know a lot of people it's not interesting, but for me, you guys know I've always taken the side that the business side of this hobby is really interesting to me. It's why guys like G.I. Joel and Glenn, like I love the stuff they're doing, the entrepreneurial business spirit. So the business side is always interesting to me. I have a business mindset that's just what I really enjoy doing, even though obviously gaming is fun and stuff like that. I don't know what it is about business and even some of that legal stuff. I really, really, really enjoy. Um, that was definitely moist. Okay, so let's talk about Arcade1Up and Alliance Entertainment. If you guys don't remember, I believe it was November of last year, and I don't have the date right in front of me, but it was announced in a pretty big way by Alliance Entertainment that uh, they had entered into an exclusive deal. Sorry, I'm just scanning the dates real quick to make sure I have the right dates. So I'm not telling you wrong. Okay, so they announced the exclusivity a little over a year ago. It was July 30th, 2024, in November during their Q1 fiscal report, right? Because Alliance Entertainment is a publicly traded company. They talked about the exclusive deal and how much it meant to them. When we talked about the finances that we got out of Arcade1Up, their numbers of annual sales and things like that we got from that original ThinkUp lawsuit, we talked a lot about how COKeM was sitting on inventory and all these other things. So COKeM, subdivision of Alliance Entertainment, has always been involved with Arcade1Up, at least for a very long time. And so when they announced that exclusive relationship in July, it was based around the fact that Alliance Entertainment had apparently helped Arcade1Up get through some supply chain issues. That was the quote unquote statement in the press release. In all likelihood, it likely meant, again, all opinions. Again, everything here, I'm not a lawyer. I only play one on the YouTubes. So none of this stuff is legal advice. Not that I gave any to begin with, but if you need a real attorney, go get a real attorney and talk to a real attorney. Don't get legal advice off of the YouTubes. But anyway, so uh, they made that announcement, and likely they said, hey, they helped us get through this supply chain issue, and we are really thankful for that. So we've given exclusive distribution rights to ThinkUp for all wholesale and direct to consumer sales in the United States for Arcade1Up, or arcade machines, and the Infinity game table. Of course, again, they played it up to their investors in their Q1 report, talking about how they've seen increased sales as a result of this great exclusive relationship. But time goes on, and there's a lot of people in this community that love to track those Arcade1Up shipments, hoping to see just a glimpse early of what might be arriving. What does Arcade1Up have in store? And of course, everybody knows over the last 2 years, it's been nothing but agonizing disappointment. Surprisingly, they came out with a couple new SKUs this year for recently, right? We've got our Big Buck Hunter, which was deluxe, which was already out there, but now features a camouflage sticker. So be careful if you buy that one that you don't lose it, because it can easily disappear. And then, of course, Terminator 2, which is now shipping and available for pre-order. But both re-releases, the Terminator 2, smaller, thinner, same shit, different day. So nothing exciting, but it's from shipping notices and things like that that people get a glimpse of some of these things. So there's a lot of avid, you know, content creators, a lot of viewers that love to watch that port data because it's all public. You can go out there and find it and look at it. So as we start going through the year, you're seeing all these shipments to COKeM, which is Alliance, and here comes January, bunch of shipments of the same crap, the stuff we all bashed, those what are they called? The SEs, the shitty editions, the slim editions, the 16:9 monitor stuff that they gave to Walmart. More of the same crap just kept coming in February. And then as shipments got through the year, suddenly COKeM disappears. In fact, there hasn't been a single shipment to COKeM since February of this year. And instead, Solutions to Go starts popping up. And as we get further in the year, more Solutions to Go. Now, Solutions to Go is a company that distributes both in Canada and the US. So there's some confusion. Is Solutions to Go just getting product for Canada, or are they also doing the United States? There's a lot of assumptions early on that Solutions to Go is probably just serving Canada. But as time went on, more products are showing up. And then we got these new products, right? The ones that I talked about, the Big Buck Hunter Pro and the T2. And they're also going to Solutions to Go, but they're popping up in the United States for sale and order and direct shipments to consumers. And so, it's looking like this exclusive deal with Alliance Entertainment came to a screeching halt in February. So I reached out to Alliance Entertainment, reached out to their investors relations. As a publicly traded company, they do have an obligation to report some of these things, especially when they use them to drum up investors and drum up business, right? They make these big proclamations in their earnings report about their exclusive relationship with Arcade1Up. They put out big press releases talking about how great this is for their company, and yet something's not smelling right. They haven't got any shipments. Why are shipments going to this solutions to go? I thought you guys were exclusive. So investor relations says nothing. Their website, Alliance Entertainment, is still marketing under their exclusivity tab, which you guys can go check out. That they're not saying they have Arcade1Up, but they have Arcade1Up images all over. They have cabs posted. They have other video games posted, but they're giving very strong indications they're using Arcade1Up's logo, that they have this exclusive relationship still with Arcade1Up. So they say nothing. We're kind of left to speculate what is going on, what is happening with this deal. What's going on? Well, other sources reached out to me, and again, this is uh, unofficial, I'll say, but trustworthy source. So I can't guarantee this is 100% fact, but the source is very close to the situation and would be in a position to know. It's not some outsider looking in. They confirmed to me that something happened. They don't know exactly what. Neither party is talking. And Arcade1Up and Alliance Entertainment broke up. Lovers spat. Who knows what it was? But basically, after the entire lifetime of Arcade1Up working with COKeM, that relationship just came to a screeching halt. And I, for one, am a little disappointed. I like Nebraska Furniture Mart, as you guys know. They get their products from COKeM, so probably going to be the end of the line of Arcade1Up at Nebraska Furniture Mart, which has this really cool Arcade1Up display that has been dwindling and dwindling as Arcade1Up has released less and less products. But now, likely, whatever the store has in stock is probably the end of that section. But regardless, the source claims it's over with them. And more importantly, there is a new exclusive contract in place with Solutions to Go. So, not sure what that means for us, other than they've officially switched distribution partners. Don't know if Solutions to Go is putting in bigger POs and bigger orders, but it's probably a large reason why our friend Michael B is now able to get his claw machine among other modern or newer Arcade1Up products, because Solutions to Go is serving both markets and putting in bigger orders, at least it appears to be. And so will that mean we're getting new stuff? Is that why Arcade1Up said at IGN Live that next year they have new things coming? Did Solutions to Go give them a cash infusion, right? We all know the story of Arcade1Up turning to payday lending, essentially, to fund some cash flow, right? Selling their POs in order to get quick shots of cash. Have they weathered that storm? Did they get new investors? What's going on? Certainly, competition is heating up all around them with Iconic Arcade, with Basic Fun, uh, potentially Unico. So it's really interesting this time and space for them to make this big shift. What does it all mean? It's too early to tell. I certainly would love to have been a fly on the wall to know what went on with Arcade1Up and Alliance Entertainment. Kind of curious if this is all true, when Alliance Entertainment's going to tell its investors. But until then, we're just going to have to wonder. And I left Michael B's thing up there forever. So everybody wants to talk about the trade to the Packers. It's, Vic says, James, please share the breakdown of how a combustion engine works. I'll get right on that. Um, Lots of football talk. Uh, Disappointed. We should all be used to that by now. Krypton's last son says. Alliance still promotes Arcade1Up on their website. Yes, that's exactly one of the interesting things, right? Um, what's going on that they're still doing that? Are they doing that because they still have inventory to sell? Like, it's unclear. But again, sources have confirmed to me, so take that for what it's worth, that Arcade1Up, Alliance Entertainment broke up. That relationship is over, and Arcade1Up is now exclusive to Solutions to Go. Lots of Cowboys talk. Um, just a true fan giving up. The NFL needs player caps. Uh, the source is the Schwartz. James, you should be live streaming from Arrowhead Stadium. My Huskers are opening up their season versus Cincy at the moment. Do you suppose Taylor and Travis are in attendance? Yeah, who knows where they are right now. So very, very interesting. Actually KU won last week, I heard. So that's actually something to look forward to, having a halfway decent KU football team. I guess the time will tell when they play the Tigers here in 2 weeks, because I think it's a HUD team this week. But now is the fun time. We've got to get to the goods here. So as I mentioned, wasn't fully prepared for the goodness. So give me 2 seconds as I grab these this deliciousness. All righty. So again, thank I'm can't thank everybody enough who super chatted, who provided memberships, all that fun stuff. Really do appreciate it. And so you guys earned it. You guys unlocked the sloppy second. So it's time to get our sloppy seconds on. All right. So that's right. I have sitting across the room from me the G.I. Joel Nintendo style cab. So and I'm working on a full review video, of course. This is the Build Choice Deluxe Shell. Art is not yet in, so you'll see I don't have the plexi in there currently. I have that out for when the rest of the art shows up, so I can put the bezel art on there. Also, don't have the side art on there, so I'm waiting for those to show up. But until they do, here it is. It's all set up, fully functioning. I'm super duper happy, and we'll go through this in much greater detail in the initial video. So I'll break down what the package came like. We'll do a quick unboxing, what all's included, what you get in here. So this is of course, the Build a Choice Deluxe Shell, also the Let's A Go upgrade kit. So it included the monitor, the control deck, got the, you notice the retro style coin door, the single classic style um, speaker setup. Now you'll notice some things because of my sloppiness because it's not fully done. Um, so I want to be sure to call this out because I don't want anybody to think this is the way it came. I have not locked down two cam locks here, so you'll see a gap there. That's for now intentional because I'm still getting in there, kind of messing with stuff. But other than that, like the control panel right now is just sitting there because I has to take it in and out when I put the plexiglass in there, so it's not fully installed. It's just resting there. But I wanted to point that out so you guys don't think that that's the way it came because it's not. It's just like this side when it's all locked down tight. It's nice tight seam. So I can tell you, like, I don't know, like Joel is clearly a product engineer. Like I know that's what he's done for his job, but I am super duper impressed. And I'll show you more pictures here in a minute, Zero. Um, like he thought of literally everything, like every problem, every challenge. So this is all MDF, so it's not that cardboard that Arcade1Up uses. So it's got more heft, it's got more weight to it. I think it full all in is going to run around 70 pounds. I think is what the weight is on it, or a little over 70 pounds. Um, it's got access panels all over it, so it's not the screw system like Arcade1Up. It's all cam locks. So when you're putting in the second spot, you'll notice you've got boards you've got to somehow magically reach around and fit your hand into. And man, he has thought of everything. There are convenient holes like cutouts where you can just fit your hands in, fit your tools in. Really, really impressive. Like he's thought of every little thing. I think you guys know that if you've gotten any of his risers in the past, how he letters and numbers everything. So even if you didn't have the instructions, um, you could really just logically put these things together because like, hey, D2 is going to line up with D2 on the other piece, and like he's when it's a post for a cam lock, it's got a post like next to it so you can see where it goes. Where the cam lock holes go for the locks themselves, pretty clearly obvious. I mean, he's literally thought of everything throughout this, giving you special places where you hook up the power. Uh, there's a power junction box so you can turn everything off and on all in one shot. So there's a convenient access point for that. If you guys know Popeye, it's basically a one button game. As you see on the control panel, you got player one, player two, and one action button. Well, you really need extra buttons in order to operate, coin in, things like that. He's thought of that. There's hidden holes underneath the control panel where you can place those extra buttons. So they're not visible at all, but you can just reach your hand down under and hit those extra buttons. Like literally has thought of everything. So if you're familiar with Arcade1Up, you're a fan of Arcade1Up, this thing is awesome. So let's go to some extra pictures. This is just the front view. So there's one side view there, so you can get a little angle. As I mentioned, I don't have the decals yet on the side. So Stock Jock, I did not do. Uh, I'm using a mini PC because I already had one pre-built set up here. So I just put that in there. I will probably switch to a Pi, though I don't know because I have a whole stack of these mini PCs. So I may just keep that mini PC in there and do a different build. Somebody else asked something. You should have done the two speaker grills. So I purposely didn't do the two speaker grills because I wanted this to look like a recreation. And look who's in the house. It is the man, the legend, the myth, John D. Thanks for dropping by. So This is GI. That's the left of GI Joe's cab, and another. Or did I go? Yeah, another picture of the front. You can see the game playing there. You even got the sticker for the coins. I you know Borrowing from Arcade1Up, you have the whole like GI Joe gaming up at the top, like making sure he's got the branding on there. Let's see, there's another front picture, so you can see that retro style coin door. Again, the game, of course, the marquee and stuff all lights up. You should know I don't have it plugged in right now, but it does light up. Has even a dimmer setting, so you can uh, raise and lower it. Again, I just wanted to give you guys a quick preview. Um, B Kirby says, I ordered the same CAD. Does it come with the marquee? Uh, the kit that you buy from Stickersmith includes the marquee. So that's where you'll get the marquee. John D says, I love Qbert. I just don't think it would sell at 1UP to their minimum order quantity for those. So let's see. Just some more pictures. There's that marquee, the more pictures of the game. There's the right side. Again, waiting on the sticker here, and that'll clean up the rest of that. But yeah, so that is your sloppy seconds. You get a sneak peek at what's coming. So I just have to put some finishing touches on there, get the rest locked down. I got to remap a couple controls to make it more convenient because with the control board in there, I just need to put them in a different keys, buttons, whatever. You guys know how this works, but couldn't be simpler. So again, I got to give a big shout out. Like Joel is one talented dude. Like this thing is hardcore quality wise. Like it's like a rock. So goes together simply. It's his own design. Just again, super impressed with what he's come up with. And I can't thank him enough for letting me be a guinea pig to kind of go through the challenges, the early shipment. If you guys saw the way the box looked when it got here, because UPS does what UPS does, thought when I first saw the box, I was like, "Oh no!" like, and it was fine. Like there was really no issues at all from the shipment. It was packed well. It's done very, very well. So despite clearly being like drop kicked from the moon by UPS, it got here and in the way you would expect it. Uh, Direct to consumer is even more risky. Tell me why and impress me with the right answer. Well, there you go. Why is direct to consumer even more risky? Well, I would think from my point of view, it depends on how you do it, right? Like if you do pre orders and Kickstarters, hopefully you're only building to quantity and only have a few extra to deal with that maybe don't sell. Of course, like you said, the shipping issues is a big problem because if it gets destroyed in shipping, you got to make it right with the customer. So you're probably dealing with a lot of insurance and hassles with the shippers. Uh, you know, you basically got to stand behind the whole thing, even though, like, the shippers will drop kick it. And look, GI Joe, the man himself, is here. And he says, what you see is what you'll get. But again, it's super impressive. And I'll go into all the detail and show you up close and personal through all the stuff. We'll talk about it all in an upcoming video. So stay tuned for that. My hope is to have that all done this weekend. So it'll premiere on Monday. Um, get the inside look. You get to see me put the thing together mostly, done all that stuff. So it'll be fun. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, you're not getting 3,000 pre-orders. for sure. Well, and that's the thing, right? You've got that's why, you know, it, I think some of the stuff is different sourcing, but yeah, I think we've seen a few Kickstarters and they came around in what, that 300-ish range. So, uh, definitely a challenge. And B Kirby says thanks. And after 7 years, Robotron is almost a reality, says Zero Redux. And we are wrapping up here at the end of the show. I believe Michael B, the Game Genie, is going to go live here at the top of the hour. So as we wrap up, looking forward to some possibly new information coming up from Iconic Arcade. I believe I saw some posts on Facebook from one Paul H. Miniman talking about potentially some new images being released. So that should be interesting. Yeah, I know it was around somewhere between 250 and 300 when everything was wrapping up. It's similar to like I don't know what the exact number of um Wonderland was, but somewhere around there as well, I believe. Stock Shock said someone was talking about my cab. Had to check it out. Well, I've been messaging Joel off and on for the last few days, so it's been it's been fun. But again, I can't thank Joel enough for letting me be a guinea pig. Popeye Cab is one I've wanted forever. I know a lot of people want it, and it's met every expectation and then some. I am just super excited. I can't wait for others, all people to start getting this in their hands, because you will definitely be happy. Um, it's awesome, and hopefully, it's just the beginning of a lot more interesting things to come. Um, but so again, look forward to some sort of news tomorrow. Should be pretty interesting. I'm sure there'll be lots of people talking about it. I'm looking forward to it. Can't again thank everybody enough for being here. Appreciate the support and unlocking those sloppy seconds. And you know what we do here. Till next time, have fun.